What's up, Soul Warriors? It's your pal. It's me, LC. I'm running a little bit late. It happened again. The coffee happened again. And it goes right along with what we're going to talk about here on Free Your Mind Friday. Are you making two problems out of one? If our thoughts create our feelings and our feelings create our actions, how are we overthinking some of our problems? Are we taking them from a rational, practical place to a highly emotional place? Unfortunately, those of us that have experienced active addiction and in recovery, we have a tendency to do that. We have a tendency to take a problem that is practical, that happens to everybody, and really, really personalize it with high emotions, with what they call masturbation and our judgments upon it. So if that sounds like you and you're ready to know how to conquer this and surrender to practicality without over emotionalizing things, then hey, you're in the right spot. You're here live with me, LC, on both Lona Curry at Facebook.com and the Recovery Soul Food YouTube channel. If you're not already a subscriber, please like, subscribe, and share our videos out so we can continue to grow this platform. You all have given us such an amazing growth just in the last 30 days. I can't wait to continue to grow that YouTube platform. There's so much we can do there that we can't actually do here. Not that Facebook isn't great. You know, I love my recovery Facebook community, but YouTube offers us some different freedoms. And so if you want to grow with me, LC, head over to Recovery Soul Food. In fact, the link, all you got to do is push the link is in the description on this video right here. So if you guys are ready, share this out. I'm ready. Let's get going. What's up, Soul Warriors? Happy Friday. Can we just say, thank God it's Friday, right? We love to say that. We love Fridays. I don't really know why, because in this pandemic, do we really know Friday from Monday? I mean, some of us do. I certainly do. Let me just say that. But I hope everybody's doing well. I've got some master motivators in the house this morning. Maddie J. Blonsky, my little brother from another mother, is in our house. The point of change. You guys know who he is. He's an amazing human being. I love him so much. Diane Green, good morning. Janet McClanahan, Jimmy C, the master, the man, the myth, the legend, Jimmy C. Oh my gosh, what's up, Tony Schaefer? You look so good. So happy to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. So that's all that StreamYard shows me. So if you're here and I didn't call you out, please forgive me and welcome to Free Your Mind Friday live with LC. Man, I've been on a different kind of, you guys know I'm always studying the mind because it's our whole control system. It's like our computers. We program it in. Computer don't work until you get the programs in. It's beautiful. It's pretty. It's got a touch screen. You can do so many things with it, but until you put the programs in, it ain't really going to do much but look pretty on your desk, table, wherever you put it. Patty Vogel's in my house. I love Patty Vogel, favorite human being. My mom is here. Good morning, Mom. Another of my favorite human beings. Ooh. So my thing today, my theme, my topic is, are you making two problems out of one? We all experience life, man. Life comes at every single person. Most of the time in active addiction or even before, because we all know that addiction is a byproduct of much deeper belief systems, much deeper self-worth issues. And so we have this tendency to take normal problems that happen to everyone, like the loss of a job, like COVID-19, like, financial issues and family issues, people passing away unexpectedly or expectedly. And we have this tendency when we come from active addiction, when we come from a place of trauma, to really personalize those things. We get into our what they call masturbation. And what masturbation is we have our musts, our shoulds, our have tos, and we place all these rules and judgments upon things that happen. So just take, for example, something normal happens. You lose a job. You lost your job at COVID-19, where one person may say, okay, well, I lost this job. It sucks. It's going to be hard. I'm going to survive. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to open up new doors. Someone else in that thought process might say, this always happens to me. See, I can't get a leg up. And this is very dangerous, especially in new recovery, because this is happening all the time. See, we have natural depressing thoughts, but depression is something much different. And depression often comes from that overthinking, that over, self-loathing, that over anxiousness. Because let's just face it, we all have to have a certain amount of anxiety. It keeps us safe. It makes you look both ways in traffic. It helps you not step off of a ladder or a railing when you are up there working or whatever you do. Helps you not step in front of a car or a bike. We've got to have a healthy amount of anxiety. But when we get into a severe place of anxiety, we have to ask ourselves, what are we overthinking about? Do we tell ourselves, I must have this job in order to survive? And then we have to ask ourselves, where do we go from there? In new recovery, we say, I must have this job to survive, because we don't actually know what the unfamiliar looks like. We probably just won that job and we're thinking, oh man, I'm really on a roll now. I've got this job and it's paying my bills and it's giving me this amazing process of rebuilding my life. And then something comes along and boom, the job is gone. And immediately we cover back up with the old familiar cover of, see, I just can't do anything. I can't succeed. This isn't for me. And we let that overwhelm us until we find ourselves back in a place of, what's the word? Relapse. And many times we can trace our relapses back to our overthinking, our masturbation, if you will, our shoulds, our judgments upon how everyone is against us. And if we keep going backwards and trace that back, we get back down to a place of a deep subconscious belief system that says, I'm not good enough. I just got lucky to get that job. I just got lucky to get that person. I just got lucky. I don't deserve happiness. I don't know what it looks like. So much of that is born from trauma. So much of that is born of self-judgment. We judge ourselves so harshly over mistakes we made in our process, in our active disease of addiction. And I don't always like to use disease of addiction. I'm really on the fence about it, not because I don't believe that it is true, but that I don't believe in labeling things like that. Because when we label things, sometimes it takes people's power away. Sometimes it allows us to say, oh, you can't blame me. That's my disease. Sometimes we do it to ourselves. And right now, we're in a new process of creating a new recovery movement, new systems of recovery. So we're still on the fence of using some of the old language that we all understand, some newer language, and this and so forth. So are you creating two problems out of one? Let's talk about how we now stop doing that, because it's so much easier than we think. We have to find that we get to a place in our lives, and this is why recovery has worked for me this time. I refused to be miserable and clean. Why was I going to be miserable and not have my coping skill? It just wasn't going to work for me. I was tired of running the back and forth game, the clean for a little while, holding it together, white and knuckling, just, I'm clean, to, don't I deserve to live a happy life? I'm here, right? So many of my friends are not here with us anymore. Don't I owe it to them? Because we have the opposite in our minds. We have the opposite to where we've got to remain miserable in order to honor their memory. They didn't make it through, so we don't deserve to be here and living life. And that's not the case. Where they are now in their new reality of life, which is just the next after this, where they are, they want the best for you. They want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you follow in their footsteps. And I had to really realize that. You know, my grandparents died before they got to see me put my life together. I stayed depressed about that for a very long time until I realized, wait a minute. If they would not have passed away, I would have gone first. Because you see, many of us have enablers in our lives, and they make it kind of cushioned to continue in active addiction. And for me, that was my grandparents. But I made that promise. Many of you know my story. I made that promise to my grandfather on his dying deathbed that I would get my life together. I would do something with my life. And so here I sit today. It didn't happen overnight. And I didn't get rid of a lot of these thoughts overnight either. I was still very much in active addiction at the time I made that promise. And so I had to start to flip around by conscious choice the thoughts that were keeping me in that place of feeling, that deep emotional pain, that quicksand of unrational emotions. Because what we don't like to admit is we have a choice of how we are going to flip things. We have a choice of how we are going to move forward in our thought processes. And if your step one is to refuse to be miserable, then there you go. You're already on the path to climbing out of this pit of quicksand that will smother you and take you under very slowly and methodically if we keep it there. Most of you guys know that in 2007 and 2008, I was given 6 months to live. I mean, doctor looked me in my eyes and said, at this rate, you've got 6 months top to live. My muscles had already degenerated and I couldn't walk anymore. I was walking with a walker. The majority of the time, my wife was carrying me to the bathroom and to bathe. My whole existence was on a mattress in my living room floor in front of a TV with no cable, watching the same 3 DVDs over and over and over and waiting to die. Now, there wasn't a specific disease that I had been diagnosed with. I had given up. I was letting the quicksand win. And it wasn't until what looked like the most disastrous happening occurred that I am now able to sit here in front of you and do what we do all during the week. I had to refuse to let my thoughts, my feelings, and my emotions kill me because I had a mission. And if you don't know how powerful having a mission is, let me just tell you, that was in 2008. This is 2020. And guess who's still here? Guess who's happier than ever? Guess who's living their truth and their life? Guess who stepped through fear and had to conquer all of the things and the feelings and the emotions and the overthinking of the things that I now refuse to let take me under. It's not that they don't come up, guys. I don't want to tell you that there will be a day where some of these feelings and thought processes don't come up. You're going to have a choice from now on until the day you transition into your next life. But forever, we have been blessed. This is the greatest thing about being a human being. We have been blessed with that amazing thing called free will, which means we have the choice of how we feel. And once again, I'm going to go back to the front of this video and remind you that thoughts create feelings, and feelings create actions, and actions over time create belief systems. They also create the reality that we live in, that we see. No, it doesn't create COVID-19, but what it does is it creates your reaction to COVID-19. It creates whether it takes you under or if you use it to continue to climb up to that best version of you. And you know what? That best version of you should be your choosing and not what society says the best version of you should look like, or your family, or your friends, or the church, or anybody else. You have this one trip around this sun in this body, and that is it. What happens after, we'll soon find out one day. But for now, this is the only time you're going to get to live this existence. So, do you give it all to your past mistakes? Do you give it all to your irrational thinking? Do you give it all to your emotional body and let that emotional body take your physical body out? Or do you stand up where you are and refuse to be miserable and be willing to do the work that it takes to begin to transfer those thought processes and climb out of the quicksand of emotional destruction? I have a special affinity in my heart for people that suffer greatly from alcoholism. And I'll tell you why. Because I myself have struggled with alcoholism in the past. And it is very much a depressive substance. You know, it's all fun and games when you first start. But once you cross that line, all of a sudden you become that crying, blubbering mess of a person that is thinking over all of your destructive mistakes, all of the things that have happened to you, and it just leaves you in a puddle of your own tears. And it's such a place that it feels so desperate. And for those of us that suffer from that alcoholism, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know the place that I'm talking about. And when you're in that state, you can't snap your fingers and say, okay, I don't want to be drunk anymore. I'm done with this. I don't want to feel this anymore. No, you're there and you're riding it out until you either pass out or this, works itself out of your body. And that can be where we take ourselves, even when we sober up, when we stay in those patterns of thought that keep us being the victim of everything in life. And so today we've got to refuse, and we've got to replace these thought processes with realizing what's practical. Is this that's happening with me now, with this that I'm experiencing, is this a practical problem that many people have on a daily basis? If I just lost my job, how many other thousands of people in this world have lost their job too? So we have to remind ourselves and those old thought processes and habits of thought and feeling that we're not the only one, that this is not just happening to us. And we have to remind ourselves of that. That's our like second step of being able to transfer and change these thought processes. If your kids are bad, don't you know that they're not the only bad kids on earth, and that there's a parent somewhere else, probably 2 doors down from you, going through the same thing? And so it's not that they are against you. They're probably just hormonal teenagers that are trying to figure out push-pull between adulthood and childhood. And so we have to take ourselves out of that victim place, that place of being victimized, because the victim place is that quicksand of thought that is irrational. That's where we are creating 2 problems out of 1. We've got to take ourselves out of the equation of that this always happens to me. We have to watch the language that we use, the extreme language, because let me tell you something, your brain responds to what you say. In the beginning was the word, power of life and death in the tongue. Those aren't just nice, fun, cool stories and things to say. This is real life. I mean, that whole biblical stuff is really talking to you so much more metaphysically about how you speak in life, how you think in life, how you can be, how you should, and here we go with the shoulds and ought tos. It's a way, it's an actual blueprint to live a life abundantly. And regardless of the happenings in your past, regardless of the trauma that you've experienced, we've got to be able to take that, turn it into a mission so that it is not a direct attack, and start to change these processes. And what we say matters, guys. It really, really matters. So when you catch yourself in that, that pattern of speech where you really, this always happens to me, I'm such a klutz, I'm this, I'm that, everything after I am is self-fulfilling prophecy. And just because you can say today, I'm a dummy, and not necessarily become a full-on dummy, if you continue to say this, your belief systems pick that up. And now your subconscious beliefs are moving you to see evidence in your life of all the ways that you are a dummy, so that it then gives evidence to that belief system, so you make sure to get stuck in the loop. I spilled my coffee today. Again, right? Again. Same reason when I get in a hurry, things tend to fall apart. It's not personal or, God attacking me. Why me? It's me. It's something I know. It's something that I have to make a decision. Is the fact that it's 8:01 and I was supposed to go live at 8, is that such a harsh thing that I can't slow myself down for 3 seconds and get inside with my coffee without spilling it everywhere? No. That's where that irrational thing comes in. That's where that irrational overthinking comes in, where my shoulds, my oughts, and I musts come into play in my life, and everything else gets thrown to the wind. And then what would generally happen before is that I would spill that coffee. I would say terrible things about myself. So mad. And then it would be 8:15 before I got on, because I'd have to throw my fit first. And I didn't throw my fit today, y'all. And there is my broken clipboard reminds me of the little fit that I threw, a month ago? But here's my choice. Every time I try to write on this clipboard and I feel this brokenness, right? It reminds me of me throwing that fit. Here's my choice. Do I feel guilty and stupid for throwing the fit? Or do I let this remind me that, you know what? I threw that fit and I conquered it. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to choose not to throw the fit again, because it's not worth it. Because when I analyze it, it don't make sense. Or do I see this every time and go, I can't do anything right. I'm never going to conquer this anger issue. I'm never going to do this. Or do I use that extreme language that's like putting in an order for my mind? What order are you placing for your life today by the way you speak? What choices can you make today in your thought processes? Where can you slow down and analyze where you are? Where can you slow down and analyze, is this situation as acute as my old patterns of behavior and thoughts telling me it is? Or can I take 3 seconds to analyze this and ask myself, is this going to help me get to that place and that best version of me that I'm trying to go? Or is this going to add more sand to my quicksand pit and take me under? And it doesn't matter what stage you catch it in, whether you catch it at its onset or whether you catch it in the middle, when you're sinking just a little bit and you get reminded, oh yeah, that's right. I have a choice to make here, because I have been gifted with the ability to make choices of how I think, process, and feel. We know that animals have feelings, but they don't, however, have the choice of how they're going to feel. They just respond emotionally. When I leave, my dog cries. She's sad. But it's not like she gets to stand there at the door and go, now, is this really rational? Do I really believe my dad's never going to come back? No, she doesn't have that gift, but you do, and I do. And that's our gift. And we have to start using our gifts to further our lives, because the same processes that we have used to keep us chained to depression and massive anxiety and addiction, we hold the cutters, and we've held them the entire time. Now, don't blame yourself for not knowing that you had the cutters in your toolbox all those years. Just stand up where you are today and grab them and clip the chains. Refuse to go there. Refuse to let yourself, your old patterns, your subconscious beliefs take you there. Consciously create new patterns of thought. Consciously create new patterns of feeling. Therefore, consciously recreate your subconscious beliefs. And do whatever it takes, because you are mighty. You are meant to be right here, right now, on the very path you are on. So don't cuss your higher power for being on a path that is greatly part of your purpose. Make the choices today. Make this choice to be healthy, to take care of you. We often think that the quote, to thine own self be true, is very selfish and self-centered, but really, it's a lot about self-care. It's really saying, it's not to society, do you be true? It's not to what your family expects, do you be true? But it is, who are you? And what's in your heart to do? What's in your soul, your internal longing? What is that pulling you to do? I sit here, hopefully as an example to you, that you can let the opinions of others and the expectations of others, you can let that run you, and you're still never going to live up to what they want for you, because that's not what is meant for you. It's their idea. But to get in touch with your own ideas, to get in touch with what makes you happy and becoming who you are, and to step through it, fear and all. Because there is a true, honest happiness that comes in when you are truly living your divine path and purpose. And there's a beautiful acceptance that comes in when you accept your entire past, that it's happened, it is what it is, and all the ways that it is creating such a mighty warrior within you. Because if you don't sometimes go through things that you don't like, how in the world are you ever going to truly know what it is you do want? Now, it takes a conscious thought, a conscious choice to think like that. And if I can do it, I promise you, you can do it as well. And all I share with you are the exact methods that I use in my own life every single day. And we're finding through science that we are conquering addiction in these times with cognitive behavioral therapy, with rational emotion therapy, that we are really foregoing the 20 years on the psychiatry couch of just hashing over all those old things by realizing that we have so much power within us to consciously choose how we're going to feel and think about occurrences in our lives. So today, make what used to seem like destruction to you, make that your power. Make the people that hurt you your stepping stones for greatness. Make a decision that you will refuse to be miserable and clean today. That you are going to find out what you're still here for. That you are going to live in your best version of you. That you are going to discover true happiness and that you deserve it because you do. I love you guys so much. I really do. Good morning, Stephanie Wagner and Alicia Lee, Mary Huffman. Congratulations, Mary Mayer. Larry Brown. I love you, man. I love you, love you, love you so much, Larry Brown. So good to see you, man. It really is. Really, really is. Oh, let me see. Make sure I haven't missed anyone. Okay. Bonnie, good morning, Yvonne Max. I love you. So I think Sam, my mate Sam, I love you, man. So happy to see you. Sam, you're going to, man, you can get a hold of this. When you do, buddy, woo, look out. Hey, Matthew Curran. Guys, don't forget, convene communities, hope and support community. Head over to Recovery Soul Food. But if you get to convene communities, I've been learning so much on convene about marketing and branding and setting up online courses. There is so much there. It's not just, this stuff about recovery, and there's so much recovery, content there as well. Convene communities is the community of the future. It is where real people talk about real life, find real solutions and real connections with people. So convene communities. In fact, I'm going to type it right here in the comments so you guys can get over there and get signed up. It's free. They have, they have like subscription services. You can buy like online programs. What you're going to start to find is, as my season ends, my work season, I'm going to spend far more time there on Convene. And so you're going to be able to find all my videos over on Convene, all in one place. The YouTube stuff and this stuff, it's going to be right over there on Convene Communities. So let's see if I can spell community this morning, because it surely isn't like that. You got to love spell check, right? Some days you just got to put your thanks where they go, right? Convene communities, hope and support. Y'all don't laugh at me for my I can't spell hope this morning either. Y'all don't laugh at me for my pecking typing. It's just what it is. and then get over to Recovery Soul Food and sign up. I want to thank Alicia Lee for already being in that community. I want to thank all of you that have come in and been in that community. I want to give a special shout out to Livy Jamison for becoming a supporter of the Recovery Soul Food podcast. Hey, look, if you guys want to help out that mission, keep that podcast up and going, you can become a monthly supporter. There is a package for all budgets from 99 cents a month, $4.99 a month to $9.99 a month. It just helps pay for subscription costs each month to do this. I spend a little over $100 a month just making sure that I can bring you guys great videos, great content, and on different platforms. So if you feel led, head over to anchor.fm/recovery soul food and sign up to become a monthly supporter. I really, really appreciate you guys. And you know what? Nothing else. Give this a share. Get over to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe and share out. Let's get in that YouTube algorithm and you guys make it happen. And you know what? You guys, as much as you think I help your dreams come true, you guys are the reason that I sit here. You are helping my dreams come true every day. I couldn't do it without this Recovery Soul Food Warrior family. And I want to thank you all. I really, really do. Every morning, you guys are a part of my gratitude list. And I pray before every video that your lives are touched, that a message comes through me that is absolutely divinely inspired. Many times I don't even know what I'm going to talk about until I sit down right here and connect with your energy, because I want to always bring content that is relevant to you. So we've got a lot of great stuff lined up for the podcast. This Saturday, we're going to meet Mr. Fearless Happiness, Max Nace himself. That's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here where you are now, Recovery Soul Food YouTube and Lona Curry at Facebook.com. The week after, we've got Darren, the author of Find Your Sober Bubble, which talks about a lot of neuro-linguistic programming in him overcoming alcoholism. He's from the UK, so that's going to be, I think, at 3 p.m. We're going to have to do it a little bit different because he's in the UK. Y'all know how that goes. But then the week after that, we got Tiffany Werner from Moments of Clarity with Tiffany and so much more. Guys, I love doing this for you. I really do. So if you have suggestions on content of things that are going on in your life that you would like to hear me put a video together for, then type them in the comments. Make sure that you send them to me. I want to know what you need to hear, and we will work on it from there. This is not just for me, guys. This is for you too. And you are the reason that I get up and I do this and I keep pushing through, even on days that I'm not feeling great. And sometimes I just get frustrated when I don't get to bring you that live video for that day. But I thank all of you for your prayers. I am feeling a little bit better. Today's kind of starting to be a little bit rough, but you know what? Our body keeps a score, and shingles surely give me a neon sign that, hey, bud, you are letting some stress go by unattended. And I will take these shingles. I will be grateful for these shingles, and I will get to work on that part of my mind that is still trying to deny stress or hold stress or whatever. Because if we let it sit, it turns into dis-ease in our body. And I don't want that. I came through 4 overdoses, suicide attempts, and major accidents to stay here and give back to my community until I draw my last breath. I dang sure ain't going to let some disease take me out. Ain't going to happen that way. So I'm grateful for shingles. Thank you, shingles. Now you guys make a choice in your life today to be grateful for those things that might look like destruction, that might look negative, and let them know that you're going to use everything that tries to step against you as a stepping stone to the greatness that is you. You are enough in every way, shape, and form in your life. Know that, believe that, remind yourself of that constantly. And I will see you guys tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here with Fearless Happiness, Max Nace. Every one of you, get out of here and have the most amazing, amazing Freedom Friday of your entire life. Why? Because you choose to. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.